A few state-run newspapers in the city of Chengdu were the subject of much ridicule last week after they warned that the Japanese cartoon series Doraemon was a tool used by the Japanese government to cover up its war atrocities. Referring to Japan's occupation of China during the Second World War and the current Japanese government's ambiguous stance on those events, the Chengdu Daily warned its readers to be clear about the so-called strong political meaning behind the cartoon. It added that Doraemon was a part of Japan's efforts in exporting its national values and achieving its cultural strategy, advising its readers to keep a cool head while kissing the cheeks of the series' eponymous robotic cat. Other local papers, such as the Chengdu Evening Post and the Chengdu Business Daily, ran similar commentaries. However, the editorials proved too much for even the usually conservative Global Times to stomach, which described the Chengdu Daily's remarks as paranoid and far-fetched. Despite widespread popular aversion to the Japanese government, the country's cartoons and wider pop culture are hugely popular in China. According to a survey quoted in the South China Morning Post, Japan was the most desired destination for China's wealthy travelers this year. So, what do Chinese net users think about the remarks in the Chengdu press? Do they think that China should be worried at Doraemon's cultural invasion? Or do they agree with the Global Times assessment that the connection between an animated cat and imperialist ideology is too far-fetched? Well, to find out more, let's join our researcher Julia Liu in the newsroom. Hi, Julia. Well, quite an unusual editorial for Chengdu's citizens to wake up to last week, implying that a cartoon cat could be a conduit for the ideology of an evil empire. So how have the comments gone down among China's online community?
Hi, Michael. Well, opinion among Chinese net users is sharply divided between pro and anti-Doraemon groups. Well, this poster, Guo Liunuofu, is one who echoes the newspaper's criticism, saying, Japanese militarism never stops trying to whitewash its past atrocities through peaceful evolution. And this poster, Xian Liao Shequ, agrees, saying, we have to be vigilant, as items of a popular culture can spread soft power surprisingly effectively. And however, the overwhelming majority of net users disagree with the Chengdu editorial and feel that Doraemon can be cherished by people all over the world. And this poster from Jiangxi argues, Doraemon holds an important place in my childhood memories. It is full of sincerity and goodness without any dirty political elements. And Liu Xuesong on Haiwai has this to say. Remembering the Japanese war atrocities differs from actively promoting hostility, while we should just enjoy this cartoon for what it is. And another poster, Tanlan Qundao, argues, some Chinese people and companies have already made the mistake of blindly boycotting Japanese goods amid a tense relationship with Japan. And now we should look at this issue from a more reasonable perspective. And this poster, Henry, says, well, attacking a cartoon image reflects a lack of confidence in our culture. A real cultural power won't be so insecure as to go after a cartoon cat in this way. And this poster, Lan Pi Shu Tianping, has this take, saying, well, Japanese cartoons have so many fans in China because our domestically produced ones are so disappointing. Well, instead of denouncing foreign works, perhaps we should work harder to create better ones ourselves.
Okay. Well, with reference to that last comment, do other Chinese net users agree that Chinese-made cartoons are inferior to their foreign counterparts?
Yes, the consensus online certainly seems to be that today's Chinese-made cartoons can't compete with the rivals from abroad. As this poster Wen Jia points out, well, Chinese cartoons have experienced record-breaking growth in production over recent years, while 26,000 minutes of footage was recorded in 2011, far exceeding Japan. However, this is misleading, as few consumers appreciate its quality. The output value is so low that the report in 2012 said 85% of Chinese animation houses were losing money. And this was Tu Jiang observes, the U.S. is more capable of resisting foreign animations if it wants to, as its own domestically produced products are the best. But what seems really great with the Chinese net users is the fact that China's current domestic animation offerings are no better than those from 20 or 30 years ago. As this anonymous poster says, Almost all the children of the 1980s in China still think of cartoons from those days as masterpieces. After that, we have no cultural reference points. And this was from Inner Mongolia remarks. Looking at the downturn in quality in recent years, it's hard to believe what Disney Pictures once considered China a major rival. And a poster on QQ.com remarks, nowadays, domestic cartoons are stuck in the personification of animals and only cater to young children who don't have any strong opinions either way. And this poster has this to say. Well, despite the wealth of inspirational source material from China's rich cultural history, today's animation houses are content to imitate the works of others.
Okay, so finally, Julia, why exactly do Chinese net users think that the cartoons produced in China are of such low quality?
Well, on this topic, there is plenty of analysis from net users. Well, to start with, this poster, Kit GGM has this view, saying, animation production relies on the development of the whole film and the television industry. It is mature enough in some developed countries, but in China, this is still relatively new. We still need time to build up our resources. And this poster, Lü Xiaoteng, has another concern, saying, well, in China, the captive audience for animated shows is small, as many people feel the genre is just for kids. Well, some net users focus on the unintended side effect of protective policies from the Chinese government that were ironically implemented in order to boost the domestic animation industry. Well, Cao Wenwen says, well, animation houses receive subsidies according to the length of their production. This policy focuses on quantity rather than quality, so the producers become more focused about making money than producing quality shows. And another poster views China's emphasis on rote learning may affect artists' creativity, saying, well, due to the way children are taught in China, coupled with the considerable economic pressures from a contemporary society, some Chinese artists are short of imagination and patience. And finally, Chengdu Japan blames the strict censorship from China's broadcast authorities for strangling the creativity of its cartoonists, saying, well, artists today face too many barriers and restrictions, which prohibit them from making something they actually want to do.
Okay, thanks, Julia. And that was China Tech researcher Julia Liu with some views on the Japanese cartoon Doraemon and why China's animation industry lags behind its foreign rivals. Next up on China Take, some of the top trending phrases on China's most popular search engines.